Diaz and Poirier have taken to social media, and it appears that they want to fight, and they have agreed to fight in January. Now, that's not going to happen. There's a lot of problems with that, why that can't happen, and I don't know that any of them are fair. I'm not claiming that they are. Diaz has been very open. Diaz deserves credit for his honesty, which is, I have one fight left, and I would like to do it because I want out of my contract. Now, the rumors of him boxing Paul, I personally believe to be true, but Diaz has made his intentions very clear. Poirier gets to have a little break. Can we all agree on that? And whether Poirier gets to have the break, or even if Dustin says, no, I want the Diaz fight so bad, I'll take it, put me back in there in 3 weeks, now you still have the promotion. And as great as that fight's going to be, the card that they're referring to in January has the heavyweights on it, which not for nothing, I believe, is going to be the biggest heavyweight fight of all time. It just doesn't need more help. That's a great fight. That's a big fight. You guys would all really like to see that. But the promotion is going to have to consider, is the squeeze worth the juice? How many big and expensive and mega fights do we want to put on a card? And do we want to put any fight on a card that can steal any level of attention away from what we're showcasing, which is the heavyweights? So it's just one of these tough situations. I like that Poirier is so gung-ho. Everybody likes Nate Diaz. Dustin's like the nicest guy in the whole sport, but for some reason, those guys don't like each other. Those guys you would think would be best friends. If you know Nate and you know Dustin, you're going to just assume they're going to sit down and have lunch together and hit it off. But they don't. These two are oil and water. That fight, I believe, that fight's got to happen. There's a few fights that I could use that expression for, though. I think that Diaz has to fight Conor McGregor a third time. I think that Masvidal needs to defend the BMF belt against Diaz. And I think that Diaz and Poirier got to get things settled. I mean, do you guys remember the backstory, though? Because Masvidal and the BMF title are relevant if you're talking about Diaz and Poirier. And a lot of people have forgotten this story. Those two, Dustin and Nate, were supposed to fight at MSG. And something happened. And I can't remember what it was, but it was on Dustin's side, where Dustin ended up coming out of the fight. Insert George Masvidal, create the BMF, main event, off we go. But those two, Nate and Poirier, had agreed to do some business together. They're partners. And one partner didn't come to the table, which I think pissed Nate off, quite frankly. Nate made it known it pissed him off. Nate got other major opportunities, as did Dustin. But I don't think Dustin liked the criticism. Okay, fine, whatever. Is that a reason to fight? That's between them. They think it is. I'm in for it. I'm just sharing that it's really hard. Everybody in fighting likes Nate. Everybody that ever meets Dustin likes. I mean, those two, you really think they'd be like workout partners. They'd be buddies. But for some reason, they're going to settle their dispute another way. I'm in. I'm in on all of it. And it looks as though they helped the matchmakers. They helped with promoting it. So now they've served Dana. They did everything right. They did everything that Dana would normally like. They just didn't give Dana time. They just didn't give him any time. And they're trying to get on a card a little bit too fast that Dana already has his ducks in a row for. I'm guessing, guys. I haven't spoke to Dana about this. I don't know. I just know how Dana operates most times, and I sit back and study and observe it. I just think there's a couple of things that aren't going to work for him. Predominantly, the speed of the fight. And Nate is making it very clear, I want out and I want out now. Whatever opportunity or whatever he sees, the sooner, the better. And if there's any way, take a breath, to exhale, to wait just a second. Because Chael brings up a damn good point. Nate versus Masvidal works. Nate versus Conor works. We don't have Conor yet. Conor still needs, by just reports I'm hearing, he needs 4 more months. 4 more months until he's back 100% and then go into training camp, which puts him out realistically until about August. And that, best case scenario. Nate is making it very clear. No, I want to be free and done and clear by then. Now, the whole thing bothers me only for one reason. I appreciate how open and honest Nate is being with all of us. That is generally just exactly how we would like to see it. I don't understand the concept as it pertains to Dana. You have Dana, a promoter who believed in you, who took an opportunity, who worked his ass off, and who created you from a marketing standpoint. And once you get there, you're turning pointing the gun back at him. You're trying to go off and do something without him. And I see this a lot in MMA. I see it with coaches that help to get a guy to a certain level. Somebody else comes in and grabs them. As soon as they start making some money and something can come back to the gym, boom, somebody else sunk their teeth in them and off they go. I see it with managers all the time. The manager gets a guy, as far as he can go. Some other manager sits him down, gets a dinner, gets a coffee with him, promises the world, steals him from this manager. I see it all the time, but I don't like it. There has to be something in life said for loyalty. And I do think it would be done a little bit differently if Dana was approached and Dana was at least offered an opportunity to be included, as opposed to I've made up my mind and I'm excluding you. That's me guessing. I would not have excluded my promoter. Everybody gets to do it their way. I only bring that to you because when I do take a look at this, I always end up just a little bit surprised. Look, there was nothing, guys. Nothing. You remember the great Team Quest? Are you guys hardcore enough fans? Do you go far back enough to know about Team Quest? Team Quest was a top 3 gym in the world. For several years, it was Gym of the Year, but then the Brazilian top team started doing a great job. Militich started doing a great job. The American top team opens up and just becomes a factory. Top gyms in the world. And nothing destroyed that team more than the Ultimate Fighter. I do not have a single teammate, and we had a major end to the Ultimate Fighter because Randy Couture was the first ever coach. The first season ever, #1, was Randy Couture and Chuck Liddell. So when Randy coached, he was able to bring 4 or 5 of us right onto the show with him. Nobody knew what they were going in to. I was invited in that. I didn't understand it. I didn't take it. One of my big regrets, Chris Lieben said yes. Nate Quarry said yes. Season 2, Ed Herman gets in. Josh Haynes down the road. Mike Dolce ends up. I mean, I could just keep going. Team Quest and the Ultimate Fighter, major opportunity for us to use that vehicle, which was the most powerful marketing tool in the entire sport for a meaningful amount of time. I do not have one teammate to this day that went on the Ultimate Fighter. Everybody I had that went through that process did not return to our gym. Now, I do have one exception, which is short fuse Ed Herman. But even Ed Herman left for 5 or 6 years, and then he came back. But Ed Herman is the only guy I have to this day that I had prior to the Ultimate Fighter. Nothing broke us up more. And our coaches and our managers never really seemed to understand that. And they kept putting people on the Ultimate Fighter, and they would never come back to the gym. So I offer you that story because it is very common. Over the course of someone's life, you forget how you got there. You just forget. You think about it a little bit differently. Somebody else promises you there's going to be a big pot full of gold. You just got to do this and get over here. It's one of these things. That con is never going to quit working. Never will. Get rich quick. That is a scam that's been around from the beginning of time, and it will be here for the rest of time. That one will never quit working. You got to be careful. You got to be careful when you see it, because the expression "too good to be true," that's the one that you want to keep your eye on. If you want to have one great night somewhere, as long as everything comes your way, or do you want to have 3 memories that you can build? Do you want to have 4, and do you want to have 5? You just got to ask yourself these questions. Because nobody here is wrong. Everybody's done it above board. Everybody's been very honest in what they're doing. But there is a game that's going to be played. It is a game of chess, and you're playing against the master. I submit for you, you don't have to. You just got to include him.